Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Long Coat Mafia podcast. It is I, the Reverend Godfather, the show's frontman and main host. And yes, despite me still coughing a little bit, I'm feeling way better. And this is one of those types of things that it might be a short episode that I want to get out there because I had planned to do a type of story episode today. Excuse me. For the show, maybe like a night before Christmas or something like that, because it is the holiday season. But a lot of stuff has dropped that I want to relay to you guys and gals or whoever is listening to this, that I want to get out there and share with you what I think, and hopefully you'll share back with what you think. Two of which that has dropped within the past few days. One of which has dropped pretty much today. What has dropped in the past few days is word, as we stated within the past week or two, is that when we initially stated is that Sony or Disney, first it was Comcast, news came out that Comcast had their eye on Fox's properties. Then it was mostly it was coming out that Disney and Sony was eyeing up Fox's properties, and what I pretty much said was that either or, it could be good news for fans because Disney's had great relations with Sony in reference to Marvel property, but word has been coming out over the past couple of days that pretty much Disney is the one to be picking up pretty much the bulk, if not all, of Fox's properties. Now, again, Fox is not selling off their sports or their news aspects. It's primarily their TV and their movie properties that they're selling off. And Disney's the one that is going to be picking this up. Now, how it affects stuff like Gotham and Simpsons and Family Guy and other Fox shows, I have no idea. It's a wait-and-see game. But what they are, it is getting very close. A lot of what I've been saying is saying that the deal is going to be pretty much coming to a close December 25th, which is Christmas Day. They just got to get the banks to shake hands, and probably once everything is said and finalized, we'll get official word maybe next year sometime, early next year. After that, I think the FTC and the FCC might have to come into play to see how things fall in regards to the legalities, whether or not Disney is able to take on these properties. Probably more so they will. They'll say, hey, you're not really taking over Fox in the grand scheme of things. You're not becoming a monopoly, meaning that you're not. There are other movie companies out there, such as Paramount and Warner Brothers, and a plethora of other movie studios that are out there. But what also has come out over the past few days, but like I said, this is good news. A lot of fans have been speculating that when Avengers Infinity War comes out, they'll start to, if everything does go through and is finalized, we might actually see Marvel characters be woven, more Marvel characters and maybe some mutants and maybe Fantastic Four being woven into things. But either way, we'll see. They might, Marvel Studios and Disney might wait until after Infinity Wars and kind of slowly mix in the X-Men. And again, maybe we'll finally get the X-Men rebooted in regards to everything, which could be good because Fox, when it comes to a lot of the X-Men lore, even though they've been trying the independent storylines like the X-Men First Class and X-Men Apocalypse, the independent storylines are just kind of one and done, and they don't have a mainstream storyline with the rest of the Marvel universe. So we might actually see a reboot and just uniformity across the board. But We'll have to see. This is good news that Disney is primarily the one that is going to be doing this. That means the Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi will be coming home to Disney, and we will see an ultimate box set probably in the near future in regards to that. We'll probably see a Fantastic Four that's actually well done and is known how to be done thanks to what Marvel Studios has been putting out under Disney. So again, that's good. What also has been coming out and what has been dropped, we are not shy of talking about armchair legality on this show, because especially when it comes to geekdom and how it affects fans, not so much like what's been happening with Fox and Disney, but in other areas of geekdom. One of which is, I think we've covered it earlier this year or last year with YouTuber H3H3, when he initially had a lawsuit brought against him in reference to copyright issues stemming from that the person that filed this lawsuit, initially filed the lawsuit against H3H3, saying that what H3H3 did was not under fair use and it is copyrighted. And I think the results came down late last year, early this year, saying what the judge stated was that H3H3 was under fair use, and what people like H3H3 do in reference to ongoing commentary or explaining what a video does is fair use. Now, that being said, along this same lines, a few years ago, a lawsuit was brought up against a little known, I won't say a little known, I want to say that the convention was probably more along the lines of I don't want to say a Baltimore Comic Con, but it was that type of size, that it was a larger con, but not a very very big con like maybe a San Diego or a New York. But what happened was they used Salt Lake City used the aspect of the promoters when they brought the con to Salt Lake City, is they called it the Salt Lake Comic Con, and it was pretty much without the hyphen. And what happened was the biggest convention in America. I'll probably say it like that because Toronto has a pretty good sized convention of their own once a year. I don't have the brain offhand to remember what it is, but the biggest convention in the land is San Diego Comic-Con. It's the biggest media event in the land. It's usually held in like June or July, what with New York City being kind of the secondary announcement side a few months later. But what happened was San Diego got wind that Salt Lake was using the Comic-Con monkier with their title, and San Diego said, you ain't doing that shit. Well, they didn't probably use shit, but still, they said, we ain't having that shit. You ain't using Comic-Con. That is a trademark violation. Now, we've heard this aspect before with way back in the day with, even though I don't want to bring up his name, but Donald Trump saying you're fired, which fell through with copyright claims. And most recently, with the Fine Brothers trying to trademark the word react and reaction, which also fell through, I think, earlier last year. But either way, San Diego said, hey, we not only have a copyright on Comic-Con, and they write theirs with the dash, but Salt Lake City didn't use the dash. But either way, San Diego pretty much said, hey, we're filing a lawsuit in regards to trademark violation, copyright violation. You stole our Comic-Con name. People are going to confuse you guys with us. The whole 9 yards. And pretty much what happened was They won. San Diego won. Now, whereas the H3H3 lawsuit set precedent on the aspect of H3H3 and what can be deemed reaction-wise with his type of videos or those that go with his type of videos, this sets precedent on San Diego's side, saying that those who have a trademark or write their name a certain way may have a precedent on their side. There's no word, pretty much the article that came out said, San Diego, a federal jury has ruled Salt Lake Comic-Con organizers violated trademark law when they improperly used the words Comic-Con. In a verdict handed down Friday afternoon, the jury sided with San Diego Comic-Con, which sued the Salt Lake event and its organizers, Dan Farr and Brian Brandenburg. The jury found San Diego Comic-Con's trademark is valid, and Salt Lake Comic-Con used it without permission. And it goes on to say, San Diego Comic-Con sought as much as $12 million in damages from Farr, Brandenburg, and Salt Lake Comic-Con. Instead, the jury awarded them only $20,000, finding no willful infringement on the copyright. I felt like it was a draw, said Brian Brandenburg, one of Salt Lake Comic-Con's co-founders, said in an interview with Friday on with Fox 13. San Diego Comic-Con International sued in 2014, accusing Salt Lake event of infringing on their trademark to the words Comic-Con. Salt Lake Comic-Con insisted the term is generic, pointing to more than 100 other events held across the country that used the term. The verdict could potentially impact other Comic-Cons across the country. In a statement of Comic-Con said all it wanted was Salt Lake to stop using its trademarks. Now, in a moment I'll read, the article does go a little bit further. This is a Fox News article, Fox 13 article. I think it's out of California, because it says local. I'll go into a moment regards to what one of the founders did say recently in regards to this on Facebook, but I want to give you a little bit of my opinion on this, that in a way they're kind of right. It does. We have a plethora of big and small conventions out there that use the term Comic-Con, and what San Diego wants to do is they want a monopoly. They're being, some people might say they're being ultra greedy and being almost on the aspect of trademark trolls, that they don't want any other conventions out in the United States other than maybe New York City Comic-Con. Maybe New York City is their next topic, or maybe New York City is paying. We don't know. I don't know this. There's no way. I haven't heard that New York City is giving San Diego any type of royalties over the fact that they use Comic-Con in their title as well, in regards to the title. Because you have San Diego Comic-Con and you have the New York City. The reason why they might say that, like, they might easily change it instead of saying the New York Comic-Con, it's the New York City Con. It's easy for them to switch things up, but a lot of times people have referred to the New York City Con as the New York Comic-Con as well. But that being said, here's the precedent that here is the strong man in the world of comic book conventions, kind of muscling in, or trying to be the muscle, the alpha con in the country, saying, hey, we're the biggest, we're the best, we will sue everybody for all the money in the world for, the use of Comic-Con. That's why you have Wizard World doing their thing, and a lot of conventions coming up or changing their format a little bit to be more of a pop culture convention. That way they could advertise it as a pop culture convention. But with the aspect of San Diego saying that they have a trademark and a valid trademark on their name in regards to Comic-Con, what could happen now is, or the sad factor, is that you could have another major company out there, whether, I'm not saying Wizard World, but another type of major convention, whether it be in Dallas, New York City, Chicago, Orlando, Seattle, come up, or even LA, come up with their name, like let's say Orlando, Florida, Pop Culture Con, trademark it, then go after every single mom and pop Matt Burns type show, say you're using pop culture in your name, we have the trademark in regards to that, give us money or change your name. So, and I don't mean to bring Matt Burns' name in this because he's a wonderful guy. That's a side announcement in a few minutes before we continue. But, I mean, after this pretty much segment. But that's the last thing I want to see is a lot of these mom and pop smaller shows that are coming to the surface that they want to put the name Comic-Con in their title, or pop culture, and maybe they'll be afraid to use pop culture in their show to help fans and people realize what kind of show that it is. That way, if they used a name like a winter convention, they are able to say what it is without actually being very, very cryptic. Because if they said Winter Wonderland Convention, again, we are not complaining about Matt, but what they could be saying is like, welcome to Fantasy Convention. Hey, we own the trademark on that. Either change your name or give us hundreds of thousands of dollars that we know you can't pay. So, therefore, you have people on a national level trying to squash the smaller cons that are trying to do something in their area, which is very, very sad, very hurtful. That being said, what are your thoughts? What do you guys and gals think? Or whoever's thinking, please let us know. Email us at longcoatmafia@gmail.com and let us know about what you think about San Diego winning this copyright lawsuit, and what you think you might deal with the smaller shows. And when we have Matt on this show, I'll ask him about what his thoughts about this, how it could affect someone like him in regards to this. Now, one of the founders brought up, or I should say, released a statement on Facebook earlier today, or it could have been yesterday when he released this. He said, "I woke up this morning facing a bright new future. The weight of the world has been lifted from Dan's and mine shoulders. We have successfully cleared our names and lifted the cloud of accusation that has been surrounding us for 3.5 years. Point. We were accused of stealing and hijacking. The jury said we were not guilty of this. There was no willful infringement. Point. We were accused of trying to associate our convention with the San Diego Convention. The jury said we were not guilty of this. They found no evidence of false designation of origin. Point. We were accused of causing $12 million in damage to the SDCC brand. The jury found no evidence of damage. They awarded San Diego $20,000 in damages, less than 0.2% of what they asked for, sending a clear message that we didn't hurt." Let me reread that. Of what they were asked for, sending a clear message that we didn't hurt the San Diego brand. I think I meant to say that the jury sent a clear message to San Diego that Salt Lake did not hurt their brand at all. There was that type of level of evidence. Point. We were accused of infringing on San Diego's trademarks, along with 140 other quote-unquote infringers. Other conventions that call themselves quote-unquote Comic-Con. The jury said that we were guilty. San Diego said they're all infringers and that we and the 140 other conventions that use the term Comic-Con were guilty. So for now, the have three, I think he miswrote. So let me correct this grammar here for a moment. So for now, they have 3 valid trademarks. We think they will still lose Comic-Con. We're proud to be lumped in with some of the finest Comic-Cons in the country. Now let me pause right here and kind of translate what he was saying. First off, he's pretty much saying that the mom and pop stuff, the stuff that might be at this convention's level, if Salt Lake is a major player in Salt Lake City, the way that the Baltimore convention is here in the Maryland area in Baltimore, how stuff like that is, or in certain major cities, he's saying that the mom and pops that use, like Matt Burns, that use Comic-Con, that are coming up through the ranks and being the big time players like they legitimately may be, that he's not. It's like, hey, they're one of us. They're family. They're one of us. Which is kind of him to say so. He's saying, saying that, hey, they're one of us. We're proud. We're proud to be lumped in with them. We're proud. They're one of us. We're family. We're not special. They're special because they're on par with us. And what he might be saying is like that the fight might still continue. That, like as I said, that they might lose those trademarks in regards to Comic-Con because you might have someone that actually would have better money or get a better lawyer saying, hey, wait a minute. Break that. Let's take down that trademark because it will inhibit how a convention describes itself. Because if I want to describe this the best way possible for all of you out there, meaning there is such a thing as false advertisement, which some might say that if I go to a convention that says pop culture, and it's strictly comic books and comic book writers and artists, even though it is pop culture, it's not exactly. And then pop culture is more or less an umbrella term which covers everything. Whereas me saying, okay, I am a Comic-Con, meaning welcome to Martinsburg Comic-Con, for example, which means I'm holding a comic convention. It's not a pop culture convention, the way that someone like Matt Burns does pop culture conventions. And again, I'm bringing Matt in a positive light. He does a lot of pop culture conventions. He has people that come in that are from Walking Dead, the CW Arrowverse, voice actors, Power Rangers, the whole wide spectrum of pop culture. So it is valid for him to use the description of a pop culture convention. When he is in works to probably do a horror convention sometime in mid-2018. Further word from us will come out when we get further word from Matt, when all things are set in stone, and when the time comes closer. Now back to what this gentleman said. Dan and I have no regrets about standing up for ourselves when we took action after receiving a cease and desist. In hindsight, we would not have taken the car down to San Diego. For that, we apologize to San Diego Comic-Con. They are a great event with great people. Again, he's showing there's no hard feelings, and they probably took the fight straight down, which they could have, but they probably wanted to rub the nose into San Diego's face, but that they're just saying in a in hindsight, that might have been a bad idea, but we had to take it to them. And in essence, he's right. They had to take the fight to them. They might have set a precedent that, hey, that we're not going to, bow down to someone like the alpha con out there, which is San Diego, saying, hey, we're not. They might be setting precedent in that it's easy to go after these guys. Don't bow down to them. Go after them. Get supporters, get your fans together, and go after these suckers. Chop them down. Let the courts go after them, even though precedent has been set against San Diego in round 1. Pretty much what it goes on. It goes here. Let me read on before I go. In regards to it, it says, the process helped me realize once again that we truly have the best fans in the world. You have been there for us, and it was comforting that to have so many pulling for us. We are glad that we were able to clear our names at a minimum, but there are a lot of things moving in the background which I cannot talk about. All good things. We own the trademark for Fan X. There are over 140 Comic-Cons and one Fan X. That's not a booby prize. If we needed to drop Comic-Con from the name and just be Fan X, we have that trademark. And for that, and a lot of positive brand awareness, almost all the hundreds of thousands of people that have attended our events are familiar with that brand and name. Pretty much what they're saying is that they could easily switch to Fan X because they were probably incorporating that brand, that name into Salt Lake Comic-Con, meaning they could say Salt Lake Comic-Con brought to you in part by Fan X or Fan X. It's already been incorporated into their title or somewhere part of the Salt Lake City Comic-Con ordeal or with their conventions. That way that they could all just put down Fan X Con, and the X could probably mean fan of horror, fan of comics, fan of pop culture, fan of whatever. And they could easily incorporate that into the title. So, let's go on. It says, all the 100,000 people that attended our events, yada yada. We're not sure exactly how things will play out. We may change our name, we may appeal, but one thing is for certain, 2018 will be our best year yet. We couldn't have done it without all the amazing support from our fans and fellow promoters, and they just give a bunch of thanks and says, we are humbled to now be honorary commanders at the 38th Fighter Wing, yada yada. Just a lot of thanks and so forth and so on, and he thanks everybody that in the community and that made it help make a difference. But again, this is round 1 in regards to this, from what I've seen in regards that if they keep doing, if San Diego keeps saying, okay, lawsuit, copyright infringement, trademark infringement, they will, and the more people that stand up and fight against San Diego Comic-Con in regards to them trying to push their trademark of Comic-Con on the United States and trying to kind of squash the competition countrywide and to be the only one to use Comic-Con, that maybe in some form up to the highest federal level somebody might say, or if Salt Lake decides the fact that we can't go appeal to the higher and higher levels due to cost and so forth and so on, because trademark infringement cases are not cheap. They could go to the millions of dollars. I think H3 can attest to that, and he had help funding his fight against his copyright infringement case. And trademark infringement is a much harder case to win. It took a few major people. You could ask Adam Carolla in reference to that in regards to trademark infringement, because he had a similar case with what's known as a copyright, a trademark troll. These are companies that go out what happens with some trademark is that, let's say, Coca-Cola, if they were, or better yet, Sega. Sega Genesis still owns the trademark for like Sega Genesis and so forth and so on. If toy company A picks up Sega Genesis, buys the company, they have that trademark. They could keep renewing that trademark and registering it to companies that put out flashback systems or retro systems that are available during Christmas, and they earn a percentage. Now, they might accidentally lease it to a company that's more or less a trademark troll, that they will go after anybody and anyone that uses Sega, Genesis, or anything along those lines just to get money. And what one company did is they found out that there was a trademark on how certain software organizes an episode list or a track list, and they started going after Apple. All these companies that put out a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type of list, and said, "You're violating our trademark. Pay us $500,000 or we'll take you to court." And because these trademark lawsuits are very, very expensive, like they could hit millions of pounds, millions of dollars, places like Apple easily gave them $500,000 or whatever they settled, and the company just went away. These are not only patent trolls, they're trademark trolls, because that's all they do after lawsuit after lawsuit. At one point, some of the major companies and major billionaires went after this company that kept doing this, and the law finally said, federal law, and pretty much said, I believe the article I read at one time said, you can't do this no more. That's it. We're not letting you do this because you are hurting a lot of the people. And I think Adam Carolla settled out of court for a lesser amount. He didn't have to pay a couple $100,000, couple of $1 million, but he still went to court. He had a backing with a lot of podcasters. He had a backing a lot of fans to help them reduce the cost of the lawyers. But still, in the long run, what happened was, even though someone like Adam Carolla lost, what it paved a way in regards to it's the aspect of losing the battle but not the war. And if someone like San Diego keeps saying all these conventions that keep using Comic-Con, you know what? They're infringing on our trademark. How dare they? How dare they? Now, someone like Salt Lake might say, "Hey, we might have lost the war. We changed our name, we rebranded, but we want to help you fight against these folks. Here's a couple $1,000. Here's a couple $100,000, whatever they could afford towards this next lawsuit. And if it keeps happening and happening and happening, the courts are going to probably say, you know what, San Diego, you can't use your trademark anymore. We're taking that away. You could still use Comic-Con. You could copyright San Diego Comic-Con. You could trademark San Diego Comic-Con. But you cannot trademark Comic-Con, because it is not, and especially if they get the right lawyer, or the defending lawyer says, wait a minute, my client needs the aspect of the wording of comic convention to help convey, to help advertise what kind of convention my defendant, my client, is selling to the public. If he or she changes the name, it can be argued that my client is false advertising his or her convention, because them putting on a flyer in a advertisement of any sort that it's a comic convention, San Diego can go after them. And All they need is the right judge going, you're right. How dare you bring this lawsuit against? We will work with the federal court saying you can't have your trademark no more. So, that being said, it's a sad day, but what the hope that the promoters are bringing is that we've lost the battle, but not the war. We're just keep fighting. There's a lot of great conventions out there. We're one of them. We're not going anywhere. We have a great fan base. There's a lot of promoters that are on our side that work with us. So that's good. That's fun. But another thing that kind of came out this past week, actually as of this recording, is the Alita Battle Angel trailer. I think the trailer said next summer. I don't know if that means 2018 or 2019. I'm hoping it is 2018. Now, the thing is, whereas a lot of people are familiar with Ghost in the Shell because the original is still around. Now, let me try to... I don't have Andy with me here to help explain the aspect of anime and to deal with a lot of anime and go into anime topics, but I'll try my best to explain things to you. There are many popular animes that are out there. Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, that are strictly, I won't say kid-based, but everybody is familiar with those. Then, branching out, some of the classics that many people recognize is Ghost of the Shell, with its many branch-off shows that are kind of like how Dragon Ball Z has a lot of branch-off aspects to the original, or continuations to the original. Ghost in the Shell has that aspect to it, and name recognition and sense of familiar with the fans. So when you say Ghost in the Shell, you have Ghost, the original movie, you have standalone, you have all these reimagination of the original movies and different aspects of the original universe that were out there. So you have that. Then you have Akira, that the world's most classic and original anime out there that people stand for. I wouldn't say stand, but recognize. You have maybe Vampire Hunter D and its sequel that came out more than 20 years ago. It came out in like 90s, I want to say 96, but no. It came out in like 2002, 2003. The sequel was Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Both were great movies, wonderfully drawn, wonderfully done, and it's still somewhat recognized because of when the second one came out. But there is a little known manga out there. I want to say back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there was the original Battle Angel series it was either called Battle Angel Alita or Battle Angel Gun. And depending on the translation, Alita was either called Galley or Gully or Alita. It's same character, just different names. And there was let me get the book and I'll let you know. I got the book, and the current iteration, which came out, I want to say about 7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, was called Battle Angel Alita Last Order. And it kind of went into Alita's backstory. It seemed like a quasi-sequel or parallel aspect of Battle Angel Alita's initial run. The initial run was 9 volumes, if not 10, depending on what region you were in. Here in the States, it was 9 volumes, single issue runs. I didn't finish reading Battle Angel Alita Last Order due to the fact that the places where I would get it went out of business. And what I mean by that is that I got the mangas for Last Order either at Walden Books or Borders, both of which went out of business in my area, and in order for me to get the books, I would have got them on order at Books A Million. And Books A Million, like most major standalone brick and mortar bookshops, would have a sale. Buy 2 graphic novels, or buy 2 mangas, get 1 free, or half off. And I loved that deal is because I could wait 2 or 3 months, stock up on. When I finally had the money to get the books, there was enough issues of the manga there that I could buy. Whether at that time I was reading Gantz and I was reading Battle Angel. So when I finally approached Borders or Walden Books when it was open in our area, and they'd have this buy 2 get 1 free type deal, or buy 1 get 1 free deal at times, depending on the location, I would go in. There would be sometimes 2 Battle Angels and 1 Gantz, or 2 Gantz and 1 Battle Angel, and I'd have enough money to get all 3. And that's what I did, and let the cycle repeat. So, that being said, I did not finish reading Battle Angel Last Order, and I would love to finally finish it. I know last year I picked up the Battle Angel Alita Last Order Volume. It's an omnibus Volume 3, which is several mangas. Whereas a single manga is maybe about a small, thick paperback. This is maybe about the size of a Stephen King paperback. But I would like to find more. Maybe if we get to go back to Otakon, I'll have to shop some of the bookstores or the manga shops to see if they have several of the omnibuses on sale. But back to the trailer. Now, the trailer looks interesting. It's probably a combination of CGI and live action. But Battle Angel is a very, very obscure manga, period. It's not as popular here in the States or in this part of the country as, again, Dragon Ball Z, Vampire Hunter D, Naruto, Pokemon. There are a plethora of mangas out there. Again, for those who don't realize, manga kind of translates to comic or comic book here in the States. And what I want to say is, Battle Angel is not that known. There is a lot of other. If there is a Borders near you or a Books A Million and you walked into their manga section, you'll see a wide variety of the popular mangas that are out there, like Bleach, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, the Inuyasha, the whole 9 yards, and even not so much Dragon Ball Z. There would be Dragon Ball Z, but even Vampire Hunter D books in part of this. But when it comes to something like Gantz, even though it's a little bit more adult-oriented, you're not going to see it. Battle Angel, you're not going to see it. I just got done watching a Angry Joe reaction to the trailer for Battle Alita, Battle Angel, and he wasn't even familiar with this anime. But I will say this, for the folks out there, yes, it was an anime. It was released here in the States on VHS, which is video cassette tape, with only 2 episodes. And it was very visually, it was very animated. It's kind of hard to explain the anime in a way, but Alita is very... she is a cyborg, and using the word "she" is the appropriate term because her body type is of a female body type, and she is pretty much a badass, almost on the same level of not power set, but badassery as someone like Wonder Woman or a Black Widow or a lot of the female superheroes out there. She is a badass and willing to take charge. And what worries me, and I had conversations with Sasha, the Princess of Darkness herself, in regards to this, that you have two main directors or main powerhouses dealing with this movie. One of which is James Cameron, better known for Terminator, Avatar, Titanic, and so forth and so on. And he is pretty much the executive producer on this, and the main person in charge. But the person directing this is Robert Rodriguez, better known for movies like Dusk Till Dawn and what are the kids' movies? Oh, I forgot. But he's done a lot of wide range. He works a lot with Quentin Tarantino. He's done stuff, helped Quentin Tarantino with again, like Planet Terror and all that. And that's the thing, is he knows how to really visualize, and when it's needed, put proper amount of action to it. And whereas James Cameron is mostly story-based, and it's very few... I'm not talking about Michael Bay level, that's got to be constant action, explosion, and very little storyline. Whereas, to me personally, a James Cameron movie is 70% story and 30% action. And let me change that numbers. It's 60% story, 30% action, 10% visuals. Just look at Avatar, and look at the aspect of the sequels for Avatar coming out in like 2019, 2020, 2021, or 2020, 2021, and 2022. Maybe they'll be coming out sooner, thanks to Disney, but we'll have to see. But the aspect of James Cameron is that it's got to be very visual, very story-oriented, and whereas Robert Rodriguez, it will be closer to... He's not really worried about the aspect, a lot of times, about the visuals. It's more or less he is the person on story, but if there needs to be action, he is able to blend almost a 50-50 mix into everything, that there's balance throughout, and it can be very well done. He doesn't have to worry about the visuals. He can do everything on the cheap. He knows how to do things on the cheap. And he knows how to... he adapted the Dusk to Dawn movie to a 5-series TV series that kind of stretched both on his channel and on Netflix, which was very well done. And he knows how to do this. So he knows how to tell a story and mix it in with a proper amount of action. And whereas that you're not going to get too bored with the story, or it's going to be too character driven, or it's going to be too... Sometimes what a lot of people complained about James Cameron's Avatar, it was that it seemed kind of preachy in reference to saving the environment and this and that. It was way too visually heavy. It was too tiring, boring on the storyline, and that's what was pushing a lot of people away from Avatar, which was, when seen in 3D, very beautiful, very visual. And even I would say that it was a very visual movie. But, and it relied a lot on the visuals, and then the storyline, then the action. And it just kind of bogged it down. And that's my worry in this, because the reason why I'm caring a little bit about this is because that this anime, the comic book series as well, when I started back into collecting comics, the first run I went to, or I should say, the first 2 runs I had my eyes on to collect complete runs on, was both Battle Angel and Preacher. And I managed to get all of Battle Angel, and 98% of Preacher. I think also mixed in with that was also Sandman. So all three of those were the main three titles I got into comics back in like 17 years ago. And now I'm hoping they don't just run this into the ground, make it way too preachy. But you might have a lot of fans go to this. A lot of people kind of be interested in this because the fact that it's unknown. You don't have that many people watching it. But a lot of people or recognize what it is, like with Angry Joe on YouTube. They don't know what this is. They don't know the visual style. It might cause more reprints of both the original run and the Last Order. And if that's true, I would love to get my hands on the Last Order. But the thing is, the Last Order, the other runs of it, I should say the individual books is more adult oriented, where the original run might be more teen oriented. According to the back of the book that I have right now, the Battle Angel Alita Last Order Omnibus is the ratings code. There is a ratings code for manga. Is OT, which is for 16 up. So this is in essence like an M-rated game or an R-rated movie. And I believe because a lot of the imagery is for adults and those over 16. That's why I would want to find this omnibus book at Otakon if we are granted at Otakon this year, or the next Otakon 2018. I think it's now run by, I'm not pronouncing the name, it's probably a company out of, or import company out of Japan. Let me go from there to, is there anything else that I want to cover? One of the things that a lot of people are complaining about the anime, I should say the trailer, is the fact that the eyes on Battle Angel are way too big, they're way too dolly, this, that, and the other thing. Well, she's not supposed to be human. She's a cyborg for one. The only thing I think, if I remember correctly, the only thing that was human about her in any way, shape, or form was her brain. And she was mostly robotic anyway, and in the original artwork her eyes were that big, so I think they're trying to make an actual visual representation of a manga, and that might be one of Rodriguez's fingerprints in that, so to speak, that he is able to do something like that. And I think Robert Rodriguez loves that type of challenge. Let's make it look like the comic. They want it to be comic accurate. Let's make it look like the comic. And I think that's why I'm happy that at least with him I have high hopes. I think I've said that with a lot of directors that are out there, that I have a lot of respect for Robert Rodriguez. I have a lot of respect for I lost his name. Please hold for a second. The name I was looking for is Quentin Tarantino. Both of them tend to do things on a very low budget and very well story-wise, and they're able to take the challenge of something like that and add their own stuff and go exactly where it needs to go without anything else. And I'm hoping if I hear a lot of the back talk from this movie, this is one of those types of movies that I just kept hearing word, and especially with Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron being behind this, that it just seemed like a rumor to me. Now that I have seen the trailer and it being out next year, I want to see this and see how overall what they do from, I remember the comic, the original comic set in regards to it, because like I said, she was a badass. In the comic, and the writer made her a badass, even though there are times that they brought her a human aspect to her. And I hope this is part of the kind of the trilogy, or they make this into a multi-part movie run if it is successful, which I doubt is because one, I don't think many fans there's only a small number of fans that will know about this or would really want to see it. That's number one. Number two, they're going to put it in the summer run, and for the past several years, the summer season has been rather lackluster with movies. So that being said, I'm a tad bit worried. I'm also hoping that Robert Rodriguez politely told James Cameron at times to shut up with your freaking notes. Let me deal with this. You just worry about fucking Avatar. Because I don't want those two. Rodriguez knows how to do things right. Also, speaking of that, there's been a strong word that Quentin Tarantino is going to be taking the reins of the next Star Trek movie. How that's going to work out or what's going to be doing, I like to joke the fact that that's been put out there that no one really knows about what's going to happen in reference to the new, if Quentin Tarantino is going to be a part of Star Trek, or if that rumor is actually true. Just that if it is true, there's going to be a whole lot of motherfucker in the movie. I will laugh my ass off if motherfucker is said even worse and in the right way. That's what I like about Tarantino. Even though Tarantino and Rodriguez like to take independent stuff or independent takes on a lot of different stuff. That's why one reason I am happy that Rodriguez is doing Battle Angel is because it's something fresh. Even though a live action manga is not really popular here in the States, it's more so popular in Japan and in a lot of the other Asian countries. So we'll see. And Tarantino breathing fresh life in a Star Trek film. We might see a better story come out of Star Trek in regards to that. Now let's kind of move on to kind of a quick review. I've been playing over the past couple of days. I just played a little bit today. It was South Park's Fractured But Whole. I'm still not deep into that right now. I'm going to play a little bit more. It's just, I got distracted. I finally hooked up my Super NES Classic to my TV, and oh my god, the nostalgia. It's fun, but it's kind of hard to play. The reason why I'm saying it like that is that I am having fun playing Zelda again, A Link to the Past, and I'm having fun playing Final Fantasy 3 out there, and to the diehard fans out there, oh, it's Final Fantasy 6, same fucking game, fuck you. Just that, the reason why I say it's hard is because last time I played a Super NES or held a Super NES console was well over 20 years ago, and I've moved on to the PlayStation controllers, both the PS1 and the PS2, then to the Xbox 360s, and then the Xbox One controller over the past over 10 years in regards to the 360 and the Xbox One. So I am more used to the Xbox One controller than I am with the whole SNES thing. And I like the layout that it's been, and it's complete nostalgia. As I said many times before, that here you have 21 games built into it. A lot of it is nostalgia fest, and it was a very easy hookup. I experienced no lag, just trying to remember where to go, what to do. I broke out one of my unauthorized game manuals that was put out way back in the day for Final Fantasy 3, and I realized that's not the manual I want. I wanted the other one, which is somewhere. I guess I gotta look online. But that being said, there is more. Oh, my announcements. And one of the things I brought up online is that I won't be going to Matt's latest show in March, and because it's maybe a week or so prior to AwesomeCon, and this year, which Matt always puts on a great show. I am not knocking Matt. I had a great conversation with Matt Burns. Told him he understood it was nothing personal, and that that Awesome Con was a week later, and I want to be able to gear up and reserve a good portion of my financial funds for Awesome Con in regards to possibly staying all 3 days in Washington, D.C. to cover Awesome Con if they granted me the press pass. And if I do get the press pass, which I'm so hoping I will be there for 3 days, and what I'm worried about in regards to Awesome Con, if you've seen our live video on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Long Coat Mafia Podcast, you would have realized that I brought up the fact that they think they might not approve us in regards to that we might not be quote unquote popular enough for their show because of the number of downloads and number of subscribers on our YouTube page in regards to, you only have 5 subscribers to your YouTube. Your episodes are only getting under 20 listens per episode, even though your total is this much. And done major cons before. You're not popular. We're too awesome for you. So if I get that type of response, I will issue a very lengthy open letter to Awesome Con in the near future in regards to that. But as soon as they drop the application for Press Pass, I will be putting that in. I will be putting in for interviews with a good chunk of their cast, or I should say guests that they have in. One of which is going to be Dave Bautista, and hopefully I think her name is Gillian Anderson. Not Gillian Anderson. I am severely wrong. Let's see here. What is her name? Let me bring up. No, I don't care about that. Google wants to tell me, it's cold outside. No shit. Let's see here. Let's bring up the Awesome Con guest list. Just give me a moment, please, folks. And I'm back. Sorry for the delay. The other person I was thinking of was Karen Gillian, because they have a lot of the people from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 there, going to be there this year, along with people from RXBY. And let's see, this person seems new. They're showing Voltron. Let's see, I'm going to be attending for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Professional doodler clients include Lucasfilm, WB, Nickelodeon, Marvel, Halo, known for Avengers, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, and Voltron. Draw for Pizza, Ninja Turtle toys. Pretty much he's an artist that's going to be there. And let's see who else. A lot of professional cosplayers. I have my opinions about that, but they have a lot of artists there right now. The only media guests that I have seen is like Dave Bautista, Karen Gillian. Let's see. I've seen a few celebrity guests. Dave Bautista, Michael Rooker is going to be there. Phil Lamar is making a return. That's a new name. Even though I managed to get his autograph before. Phil Lamar is a wonderful voice actor. He's played Samurai Jack, one of the Green Lanterns in the Justice League anime, and he's better known for Hermes on Futurama. And Palm Kelimioff, he played Mantis on Guardians of the Galaxy 2, plus others, and Sean Gunn. Let's see, who else? Christina Charisma Carpenter. Who did she play? Let's see here. She named for... Let's see. Oh, Hensby. Really? She's just... let's see. Other theater productions, and audition for the title role of Buffy the Vampire. There's also Angel Baywatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Cordelia. And it says she just Cordelia instead. She doubts that you want to play a bitchy character again, but her agent reminded that she couldn't be typecast until people knew her. Basically, she's low level. Well, I get the feeling that this they brought in a Matt Burns. I'm kidding, Matt Burns, because I'm not going to be at a show in March. In essence, they brought in a Matt Burns level actress for Awesome Con with the plethora of major other guests in regards to this. But the ones I'm looking for in regards to a lot of the celebrity guests is Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Michael Rooker, maybe even Phil Lamar. If I am approved, I might I might start up a hashtag saying approve Long Coat Mafia podcasting to help us get us approved for Awesome Con this March, end of March, beginning of April. I might actually use the aspect of One Cruel Joke, because Awesome Con does cross over April Fool's Day. So that's all I have right now. One final announcement before we go. There is an effect out challenge, and that is the challenge is more so directed to me. If we hit 16,100 likes, not likes, listens to our show by the end of the year, I will do a polar bear challenge, which means I will go outside, t-shirt, shorts. I'll spend a few without a coat on and do polar bear challenge outside in snow, depending on how deep it is. And I'll go down. There is a little bit of a stream in my backyard. I'll go down to that stream, and I will go into that stream as part of the polar bear challenge. And since one of the things that we got for the show is a budget GoPro camera, which is the Walmart it's a Vivitar camera. It's a GoPro wannabe. It's, as far as I've seen the reviews, it's for those who are on a strict budget and still like a GoPro type camera. And the reviews I've seen saying, for a budget GoPro-ish camera, it works fairly well. It does what it promises, and does good video. It's not on the same level, the same quality as a GoPro, but it is for a GoPro-ish camera. It is a GoPro, so that will help us do what needs to be done. I do have a tripod to help us film everything, and we'll present to you this challenge. But we need your help from a show standpoint, getting our show out there to people to listen, because as of right now, we are at exactly, let me bring up our show page, because it might be a little bit higher now as of this recording. We are at 15,941. So we need another 159 more listens to get to that goal. And I will say this, for all of you who have subscribed to us or liked us on Facebook, all 155 of you who've done that, thank you for liking our page on Facebook. Or 230 some odd of you, 240 of you on Twitter who follow us on there. Thank you so much for doing so. For those 200 and I believe it's 8 on Instagram. Let's see what the exact number on Instagram is. I know it's over 200. No, wrong button. Let's see here. There it is. On Instagram, our total followers are all 206 of you on Instagram. Thank you so much for following us on Instagram, and all 710. I think it was 10. It might have been 9. When I saw it, it said 10. Come on. Now Podbean's being finicky again. Or at least Safari on my phone is being finicky. 710 of you on who are following us on Podbean itself, either through their app or through the website, thank you so much for following us. And I think only 5 of you are following us on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for that. And until we get more subscribers on our YouTube channel, I cannot change the channel title to Long Coat Mafia Podcast or LCMP. Either way. But for now, for everybody who's followed and liked us and listened to us, thank you so much. We're not going anywhere. I just wanted to thank all of you for listening, and for all of you who have been interacting with us on Facebook. Thank you so much for doing so. It's been a pleasure and a shock to see all of you pipe in and talk to us on Facebook and communicate with each other and have fun on our Facebook page. So please continue to share and repost us so more and more can listen. And because I really want to do that polar bear challenge, I do. I don't want to have to say, "Oh, guys, really?" But still, there's that. What else? Oh, yes. If you do want to share our show, if you want to share our website out, it is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com, and yes, the word "the" is part of the website. We are on. You can tell people we're on iTunes / Apple Podcasts, and if they say, "Hey, I don't have an iPhone," just kindly let them know that if they have an Android phone, that they can listen to us on the Stitcher app or on Google Play Music, or they could download the Podbean app and follow and subscribe to us and listen to us that way. Or if you want, if you rather have us playing on the background and you don't want to carry a mobile device with you, a lot of our shows are on YouTube, but they do not count to our total plays. But hopefully with our budget GoPro, there'll be more videos being posted up on YouTube, better unboxings. So there's that. So that's about it. I've rambled on long enough. It's been about an hour and 12 minutes. So, and there has been nothing really more coming out that I can say or talk about. I will be doing I will say this. I will be doing a crossover episode with Reverend J. Leo from Skeleton Crew brand of podcasts. I'll put a link, like I did, I think, last week. I'll put a link in our show description and tell you, just keep an eye on his podcast to see which one I'll be appearing on. And while you're at his website, you could always purchase a t-shirt. They fit well, they are made very well, and they are designed very well. So I'll also include his YouTube channel on that. Please give him a support and love, because he was a victim, as of this recording, of a copyright bot asshole. I'll say that. That's my personal opinion. He wants to be very polite and very, very professional. That means I get to be unprofessional. It was a very bot fucking asshole. He was pretty much, he did a commentary for a open domain film, or a film that has been released as public domain, and that film was Santa Claus versus the Martian, and he did a commentary on it, and a bot hit his this audio commentary for the movie, and it pretty much said, "No, we own copyright on this," and they don't. It's public domain. So it's sad to hear. Jay, if you listen to this, we feel for you. We haven't got hit with anything like that yet. Please fight the good fight. We're rooting for you on this end. We'll be happy to be on your show when you're ready to have us on. We'll be doing a mirror episode with Reverend J. Leo. We still have to get back with Scott in regards to being on his show, because he was kind enough to be on our show. And Scott, with the holiday season, I got to get in touch with him in regards to being on his. So there's that. I know the holidays are getting very close, so we'll have to see very well what happens. So either way, I'll have to get in touch with Scott and schedule a day, and so I could be on his. And what else? That's about it for right now. I'm going to go over the next few days and weeks. We'll try to be playing a little bit more South Park and the Super NES and Call of Duty World War II. I might be able to stream. I want to play through the South Park Fractured But Whole all the way through before even though I could probably stream it on Mixer, I want to at least make sure I'm able to stream it. That way, I'm not hit. I'm very new at streaming. Whereas there are a lot of people that are more established on Mixer.com, and they might be able to get away with streaming Fractured But Whole on their site, but not me. But I just want to make sure. I'll probably be able to stream World War II or some of the other games before that, maybe Bioshock. But when I do, stick to our Twitter, which is Lone Coat Mafia. Our Facebook page, as I said, is facebook.com/The Lone Coat Mafia Podcast. You could message us there. You could leave a comment on any of our posts. What else? Our Instagram is also Lone Coat Mafia. You can, all three locations, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, you could direct message us and tell us what you think of the episode that way. But the easiest way, I think, of you being able to do so is our email, which is lonecoatmafia@gmail.com. That way you don't have to worry about any site censoring you or it getting lost. So, there's that. And what else? Our YouTube, since again we don't have a official title yet due to our subscriber count, I'll provide a link in the show description for that. So there's that. Have a good day. Have a good week. See you guys next time. And I am out.
See you next time on the Lone Coat Mafia.